Russian media and officials reported approaching Ukrainian drones across multiple regions overnight on July 17, as Ukraine's military launched a wider drone attack on the western regions of Russia, including Moscow. Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin claimed that Russian air defenses had shot down 3 drones approaching the capital. Sobyanin added that emergency workers were on scene, making no mention of any casualties or damage caused. In St. Petersburg, the Pulkovo Airport temporarily suspended operations, Rosaviatsiya reported, presumably amid approaching drones, as Russian airports have regularly experienced temporary ground halts amid Ukrainian attacks. The halt reportedly delayed the departure of at least 10 flights. Russian state media outlet TASS reported that drones were downed with electronic warfare systems east of St. Petersburg. In Smolensk Oblast, located south of St. Petersburg, 1 person was injured as 14 drones were downed over the region, Governor Vasily Anakin claimed. Closer to the front line, Belgorod Oblast Governor Vyacheslav Gladkov claimed that a Ukrainian drone attack killed 1 person and injured 6 in the city of Belgorod. 1 other person was allegedly injured in the region. In the city of Voronezh, Russian Telegram media channels reported that a drone had struck a residential building, injuring 3 children. Regional Governor Alexander Gyuzov claimed that at least 5 drones had been downed over the region. While in Kaluga Oblast, a 14-year-old girl was injured as 3 drones were allegedly downed over the region, Regional Governor Vladislav Shapsha claimed. Russia's defense ministry said that a total of 122 Ukrainian drones had been downed over various regions of the country.
Не чипайте рухомо частина, ебать, пидор, ебать.
Пидора.
Конченые мрази.
А что не взрывает?
Сейчас упадет.
Пошлите,
ребята. Сейчас упадет в лицу.
Сейчас будет звук, только что пиздец.
Да, смотри, вспышка, видели?
Идите домой.
Russian soldiers storming positions in the Sumy direction receive humanitarian aid consisting of crutches, rags and painkillers. A video of the collection of such parcels for the 810th Separate Marine Brigade of the Russian Armed Forces was published by one of the Z volunteers. Well, here we go. We're collecting things for the guys. From 810. Crutches, water, rags, all sorts of medicine, so that they can at least patch things up. Otherwise, it's a total disaster, the man says in the video. This episode clearly demonstrates the state of even those units of the Russian army that are considered elite. According to the Russian Z resource, Northern Channel, it is the 810th Brigade that is considered the most combat-ready in the Sumy direction. However, even it, by their admission, throws itself head-on and can be completely destroyed. Other Russian units are in even worse shape. The signs of a deep manpower crisis are obvious. Moscow is actively using soldiers who have not yet recovered from their wounds. They are literally being returned to the front on crutches with injuries incompatible with participation in combat. The so-called crippled regiments are the result of Russia's catastrophic losses in the war against Ukraine. Instead of being restored and rotated, the army is being filled with those who, for health reasons, should not return to the battlefield at all. Recall, Russian military is sending wounded troops on crutches back to the front lines to fight, and redeploying soldiers with significant injuries to combat roles as it struggles with growing manpower issues. The Russians are recycling the wounded back into the fight, one Western official said. A Ukrainian defense intelligence official said they had noticed the trend in wounded Russian soldiers appearing in active combat areas over the last 6 months. He attributed the use of the wounded as a bid by commanders to hide losses and their inability to get troops in and out of combat areas when needed. Some have narrowly evaded redeployment. Recently, CNN spoke to a Russian soldier who was injured during clashes around Vovchansk, given limited treatment and then a month's leave. Hearing the wounded were being sent back to the front line, he fled Russia. "I've been in the hospital for a month," he said, "and they don't extract the shrapnel for anyone. They just put on some ointment and that's it. When the wound heals slightly, they discharge you." He said he recuperated near Moscow in a unit of amputees or those immobile or on crutches who were entitled to a month vacation when healthy again. But they are not allowed to leave the unit, he said. This is what they call a recovering regiment. They spend a month there and they are throwing them back to war. He described the policy as a one-way ticket, perhaps designed to reduce compensation payouts for families. The pay, 3 million rubles for some injury. They're sending cripples back to the front to avoid paying money. If the person is missing, the family doesn't get paid money. For the proof, a body is needed, and if there's no body, that's it. Sorry. Goodbye.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that Russian leader Vladimir Putin is afraid of the United States. Zelensky made the remarks in an interview with Newsmax on Tuesday. Zelensky explained that there is a tendency in Russia to halt bombing Ukraine during visits by U.S. Special Envoy Keith Kellogg and other White House officials. Zelensky linked the pause in U.S. airstrikes on Kyiv in the 2 consecutive days to Kellogg's recent visit to his country. General Kellogg arrived and there were no massive bombings for 2 nights in a row. This is a very interesting example. There were no heavy attacks this night and the previous night, too, Zelensky explained. Even people are already joking about it, saying that we should give General Kellogg a Ukrainian passport and leave him here and that Americans should come to us more often because then Russia would bomb less. What does this mean? That Putin deliberately bombs civilians, but when the Americans are here, he doesn't do it. That is, he intimidates, blackmails, creates tension, but does not go for a full escalation, Zelensky went on saying. He claimed that the presence of military officials in Ukraine prompts the Kremlin to recalculate its plans, adding that the Russian authorities pay attention to the military and political influence of the United States. Furthermore, Zelensky thanked Washington for its efforts to end the war, calling the U.S. role in the current situation a strategic key. It should be noted that retired U.S. Army General Kellogg arrived in Kiev on Monday following Donald Trump's announcement that the White House would supply Ukraine with missiles and weapons, including Patriot air defense systems much thought after by Kiev. In yet another move to bring Putin to the negotiating table, Trump warned very severe tariffs if Russia did not end the war in 50 days.